Cronkite News. Day 2 of the government shutdown in D.C. Find out how food banks in the Valley are responding.
Plus, how one woman is playing her part to help local veterans.
And how are the Mercury feeling with their last practice wrapped up before the finals? Stay tuned for the Sports Report for more. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Courtney DeWallaby.
And I'm Keon Russell. Thank you for joining us.
Today was day 2 of the government shutdown in D.C., leaving furloughed workers and plenty of government programs affected.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says layoffs to the federal workforce are, quote, imminent. And it doesn't seem like there has been any movement from the right or left in this stalemate. While Republicans push for an extension of similar government funding, Democrats demand concessions on health care.
But how does the shutdown impact those living here in State 48?
This afternoon, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly spoke about some of the potential effects, including changes for women, infants, and children.
WIC, there's money in the budget, the state budget, to cover the gap for a period of time. I'm not so sure how long that will last. But in time, if we do not resolve this, then programs like that can be affected.
Back here in the Valley, the government shutdown might also affect local food banks because they receive support from federal government.
Cronkite News reporter Izzy Ludlow tells us how the Arizona food banks are doing.
This afternoon, over 60 volunteers at St. Mary's Food Drive came together to assemble food boxes for those in need. Despite the government shutdown and uncertainty over funding, spirits were high. As of June 2025, food banks in Arizona were serving 718,000 people each month. People who receive benefits from WIC may also be impacted, which means 157,000 Arizonans will need support from food banks. Many Arizona food banks, such as St. Mary's, United Food Bank, Yuma Community Food Bank, and Community Food Bank of Southern Arizona, rely on federal grants. As the government shuts down, people fear they will be short on food supplies. The grants are used to sustain the food bank's operations for transportation, staff, and food purchase. For now, individuals will continue doing what they can to do to make sure others get what they need. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Izzy. Earlier this morning, National Guard troops were deployed to Memphis in what officials are calling a crackdown on crime.
They are joined by federal agents and state law enforcement to create the Memphis Safe Task Force. Attorney General Pam Bondi promised that the government shutdown would not impact their mission. Bondi said on social media that 93 arrests have already been made, but some Tennessee officials are worried about the transparency of the National Guard.
We don't know how many of these National Guard assets are coming to town. We don't know where they will be stationed. The governor said he doesn't know whether or not they'll be carrying arms or not. He said they might be carrying arms, but they might not. And so that's not the kind of transparency that we need when we're talking about something that shouldn't happen in America.
Back here in the Valley, veteran homelessness has been a steady issue across Arizona for many years.
But as Cronkite News reporter Kennedy Humble tells us, multiple organizations are now getting additional funding to help combat this problem.
This is Naye Olvera. She drives around the city looking for people in need. Olvera started her own volunteer group, De Mujer a Mujer, to help distribute homemade burritos, water, food, and additional supplies to unhoused individuals around Phoenix.
Well, we do a lot of community work. We also work with the homeless. We give them resources.
Self-funded and working out of her car, Olvera has encountered multiple unhoused veterans on the streets. This year, the number of unsheltered veterans increased while the number of sheltered veterans decreased, according to the Point in Time 2025 report. The United States Department of Veteran Affairs has awarded 6 Arizona organizations $40 million in grants to fight veteran homelessness, but not everyone is convinced that this will help.
Homelessness is certainly a money problem, but I think that we are doing all of our clients, but particularly veterans, actually, an enormous disservice by thinking that we can just pour more money into the problem and it's going to fix itself.
Richard Southey, an Army veteran, has studied PTSD and homelessness trauma for his master's and PhD. Southey believes that the overall transition from structured military life to a normal civilian routine is extremely difficult for most veterans. The 6 organizations receiving the grants include Catholic Charities Community Service Incorporated and the nation's finest, who is receiving the most amount of funding at almost $23 million. The grant money will fund the organizations throughout the 2026 fiscal year. In the meantime, people like Olvera will continue her mission.
I think we need to find a really good solution and work as a community so we can help people who are out here who really want to get out of this situation.
According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, there are nearly 500,000 veterans living in Arizona.
The vast majority of the veterans in our state are 65 years or older.
Coming up next, if you're from back east, you're used to the changing seasons.
And to be quite frank, that's something we just don't get here in the desert.
But there are many places where you can see the changing fall leaves, and these places are just a short drive from the valley. We'll tell you where when we return.
And despite the fact that it's fall, it's still pretty warm across the valley. Are we in for a cool down anytime soon? Your full forecast is ahead.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
You meet so many new people who are on different communities, and when you do that, you're able to network not only, but also get to engage, talk to people, and make life friends.
I think that definitely surprised me, the community that I would find, because I wasn't really expecting it. I was like,
freedom.
friendly. Nice. I'd say cozy.
As a teacher, you just want to reach people. You want to make a difference. You want to help them. I have an opportunity to do something I never imagined I would be able to do. Go out and build the best biology class the world has ever seen. When you go into Dreamscape Learn, you put on a set of goggles and you can go anywhere. You can be anyone and do anything. The thing about Arizona State University is they're always thinking about what's next. We can create virtual reality experiences so that you can learn by exploring in a virtual world the way that scientists explore in the real world. And kids can feel that. All these emotions are what help the brain encode information. When I see a student come out of VR, the look on their face is nothing like I've ever seen when I finish a lecture. They look so happy to be there. In that moment, you know that you've reached them.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's up close and personal with some of SpaceX's rockets. And for the Arizonans, you might get to see a rocket launch for yourself early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled because SpaceX is planning its latest launch for tomorrow morning as early as 6 a.m. in California. But you should be able to see the Falcon 9 rockets take off from Arizona while it's still dark. Keep in mind, changes in weather can easily delay or postpone the launch. But the Elon Musk-owned space flight company has lots of October plans.
And speaking of Musk, Tesla shares seriously boomed in September, with many flocking to buy electric vehicles to cash in on an expiring tax credit. The uptick in stocks made Musk the first person worth $500 billion, according to Forbes, before falling back down to about $490 billion.
Homeland Security announced that ICE agents will be patrolling Super Bowl 60. This comes after the NFL revealed who would be performing at halftime. Puerto Rican musician Bad Bunny, who Homeland Security called a shameful choice. The musician has been an outspoken critic of President Trump, and the administration's use of ICE raids are reportedly the primary reason for no American tour dates.
And the Trump administration is canceling almost $8 billion of clean energy funding. The announcement came from the Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vought. Vought called the grant money a green scam funding, and 223 projects have already been terminated, as they did not help the nation's energy needs, according to the Energy Department.
Washington State is seeing a surge of wildfires. Across the state, 237,000 acres have burned, and 11 major fires are still on fire. 30 miles of Highway 97 are closed in Blewett Pass, where one of the largest fires is burning. Mountains and forests aren't the only things firefighters are trying to rescue. Officers say that the fires are burning so hot that the risk of water runoff could lead to landslides.
Back here in the valley, it's been pretty warm over the last few days, so can we expect a cool down anytime soon?
I certainly hope so. Lachlan McTagg joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with our forecast.
Yeah, guys, higher temperatures sticking around for a little longer than people in State 48 maybe would have liked. But if we think back to this time last year, Phoenix saw a record high of 108 degrees. So could always be worse here in the valley. As we take a look at the evening planner, things will cool down to 87 by 10 o'clock tonight. Skies relatively clear, wind relatively calm as well. Waking up Friday morning across the valley, it'll be 72 here in Phoenix, 68 down in Tucson, 66 in Yuma, and a brisk 38 degrees way up north in the Grand Canyon. Ending the week for Friday's high temperatures across State 48, 101 in Gila Bend, 100 in Tucson, 100 degrees on the dot here in the valley. In high country, 70 in Flagstaff and 78 as well in Window Rock. High country going into this weekend, we'll experience a lot of high wind gusts that will move towards the north Friday into Saturday. So we see Saturday mid-afternoon gusts of 31 miles per hour in the Grand Canyon. Things will calm down heading into Friday night into Saturday, but Saturday mid-afternoon we'll see that wind gusts come back in the eastern part of Arizona, as well as we see 26 mile-an-hour gusts in Show Low, even down to the southern part of the state here in Tucson and Tombstone, 18 and 22 miles an hour of wind gusts respectively. But bringing it back here to the valley, 100 degrees on Friday, 99 on Saturday, and 98 on Sunday. Beautiful crystal clear skies all weekend long, and look at that. Low of just 64 on Sunday evening. As we take a look at the rest of the week here, it'll be sunny skies to start the week. 93 on Monday, 96 on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, chance of showers, but the high just 90 degrees. So as the calendar flips over to the month of October, temperatures a little bit more fall friendly here in the state of Arizona. In the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Lachlan McTagg. Courtney and Keon, back to you guys.
Thank you for the update, Lachlan. Well, if you're looking to beat the heat, now is the perfect time for a quick trip out of town because the leaves are changing across much of the state. Arizona State Parks just released its list of places to see the changing leaves within a short drive of the Phoenix metro area, including Red Rock State Park near Sedona, Slide Rock State Park in Oak Creek Canyon, Dead Horse Ranch State Park in Cottonwood, and the Tonto Natural Bridge State Park near Payson. Park officials say the leaves haven't entirely changed just yet, but they will very soon.
Coming up next, ASU football is playing well, with 2 game-winning field goals in back-to-back weeks.
Even with all these high-intensity moments, Coach Dillingham is keeping the team focused on the here and now. Find out what players like Jordan Tyson have in common with a yoga instructor that's keeping them calm in these big-time moments.
Cronkite can be creative.
You meet so many new people who are on different communities, and when you do that, you're able to network not only, but also get to engage, talk to people, and make life friends.
I think that definitely surprised me, the community that I would find, because I wasn't really expecting it. I was like,
freedom.
Friendly. Nice. I'd say cozy.
As a teacher, you just want to reach people. You want to make a difference. You want to help them. I have an opportunity to do something I never imagined I would be able to do. Go out and build the best biology class the world has ever seen. When you go into Dreamscape Learn, you put on a set of goggles and you can go anywhere. You can be anyone and do anything. The thing about Arizona State University is they're always thinking about what's next. We can create virtual reality experiences so that you can learn by exploring in a virtual world the way that scientists explore in the real world. And kids can feel that. All these emotions are what help the brain encode information. When I see a student come out of VR, the look on their face is nothing like I've ever seen when I finish a lecture. They look so happy to be there. In that moment, you know that you've reached them.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Lainey Napoli. It's a Southwestern showdown as the Mercury head to Las Vegas to take on the Aces in the WNBA Finals. The Aces won 3 of the 4 meetings between them during the regular season and are favored here. But as our London Christensen reports, Phoenix is feeling good about their chances in the series.
The Phoenix Mercury held their final practice before heading to Las Vegas for their matchup with the Aces in the WNBA Finals. After a few days of rest, the Mercury are feeling confident heading into the series.
Much needed rest. I think we've come into the gym still staying mentally locked in, staying mentally sharp. I think those were important for us to, yes, get off our legs, but still keep our minds going on what's next.
We're all thankful that we're not getting off a plane from Minnesota into Vegas today. We've had a couple days to get some rest and reset. And
regular season's done. I think we're locking in on the playoffs and watching the film on the playoffs and what we've done and building off of that.
Let's go get this, right? This is a hell of an opportunity, right? We want to get game 1 like they do, but it's the first of 4.
The Mercury will be looking for their 4th championship and first since 2014. Games 1 and 2 will take place in Las Vegas starting on Friday. In Phoenix, London Christensen, Cronkite News.
Thank you, London. The series starts at Michelob Ultra Arena in Vegas before coming home for games 3 and 4. Games 5 through 7 will be marked if necessary in case either team ends the best-of-7 series early. 2 MVP candidates, 2 experienced coaches. This is shaping up to be an exciting series. Sun Devil football is on a bye before they play Utah on the road, and Coach Dillingham is taking a rest-first approach to the off week. With starters resting and backups getting more practice snaps, it could be an opportunity to see who could step into a supporting role as the team faces a tough stretch, with its next 4 opponents being a combined 17-1.
So I would say for the younger guys, it's really those special teams periods, not that end of practice. So about an hour a day is going to be focused on really 45 minutes to an hour a day on just the younger guys. And then the third week of practice, the third day is going to be a high workload day for the vets, so we don't have 2 straight weeks of not a high workload.
And while the team uses the bye week to rest and recover, notable Sun Devils try their best to fit recovery time in during games and practices in unique ways. Cronkite News reporter Farah Bojalid has more on some players' barefoot preparation.
Before ASU receiver Jordan Tyson can make plays like this, he warms up by doing this.
I've been doing it since I was probably in 3rd grade.
This is a practice called grounding, walking barefoot on natural surfaces to calm the mind and steady the body. Known mostly in wellness circles, it's often practiced by yoga instructors.
I really think it helps me to improve my balance because I use all parts of my feet as well as different muscles that I don't think I would normally use.
Barefoot and steady, Tyson circles the field while completing his grounding ritual, keeping him connected to the game and earth beneath him.
I usually just do one lap. That usually be enough, but I go pretty slow, so it'll probably be like good, like 5 to 10 minutes usually.
Tyson is not alone in this ritual.
Some people was already doing it before I started doing it, but a couple people started doing it because I was doing it.
Linebacker Jordan Crook and defensive lineman Jacob Cronkite also practice grounding. Both say it has many benefits.
Grounding is great for like the body, like, and especially like the feet. Come out here, like you could use it as like a recovery tactic. Like you come out here like on your off day or something and just kind of walk the grass.
Yeah, I've been walking around barefoot since I was a little kid, so I'm just kind of used to it, and it just makes me feel more comfortable, like more at home.
And for Tyson, it helped him recover from injury.
Yeah, it was part of it. I think it was big for the knee for sure.
So while the Sun Devils are flying high after getting off to a 3-1 start, they will continue to keep their feet firmly on the ground. In Tempe, Farah Bojalid, Cronkite News.
Suns training camp is underway, and with splashy offseason moves, eyes around the valley will be pointed at the Suns to see if they can make the playoffs after missing out the past 2 years. Devin Booker is the highest paid player on the team and will be both a leader on both sides of the floor. With young additions around him, it will be a point to watch if they can get on the same page as Book and make a playoff run. Their first preseason game will be against the Lakers tomorrow night in Palm Desert, California. The Cardinals are in the thick of the NFL season. Game-winning field goals, season-ending injuries, they're 2-2, and with pressure starting to pile up, rumblings for better play are rising. Those rumblings boiled over when the Cardinals got booed off the field at halftime against the Seahawks, losing the game 23-20. Head coach Jonathan Gannon is focused on stopping the Titans this week, despite not playing their best during the first month of the season.
When you turn on the tape, it catches our guys' attention. This is, I know their record, where they're at right now, but they got really good coaches, really good players, and we're going to have to play probably our best game to date to beat them.
The Titans have struggled as an offense with a rookie QB, which keeps their defense on the field, giving up more points. The Cardinals' defense has looked elite when healthy, but the offense hasn't found a rhythm. With James Conner and Trey Benson out, even more will fall on Kyler Murray's shoulders. And finally, PHX Arena, home to the Suns and Mercury, now has a new name. The teams will play at the Mortgage Matchup Center as part of a 10-year, $115 million naming rights deal with United Wholesale Mortgage. That's it for tonight's Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Lainey Napoli, and thank you for joining us. Now, back to Courtney and Keon at the desk.
Thanks for that sports report, Lainey. And coming up next, astronomers are looking to the skies.
And it's not just to see that SpaceX rocket. Join us after the break to find out why this rogue planet is stunning the astronomy community. Welcome back. Today we're celebrating newspaper history. That's right, the Peanuts gang turned 75.
That's right. In 1950, Charles M. Schulz introduced the world to Charlie Brown for the first time. Schulz would go on to write and draw every Peanuts strip for the next 5 decades. Debuting in just 7 newspapers, the beloved comic strip is now featured in thousands of newspapers around the world. Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the gang are even online with a new streaming series on Apple TV.
And astronomers are watching the skies as it looks like outer space is getting another heavy hitter. Although 620 light years away from Earth, scientists can see that this young planet is packing on the pounds. Located in the Chameleon constellation, the rogue planet already has a mass size 5 times that of Jupiter and is growing by the second, which is highly unusual and also star-like, according to astronomers.
And that's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Courtney DeWallaby.
And I'm Keon Russell. Thank you for joining us. Good job.